Hello, how are you?
How you doing?
Yeah, good. How's the shed?
Yeah, it's fixed.
Looking amazing.
Is it?
But I think we've got more worrying issues at the moment. I think our village people are starting to go a little mad. There's someone sitting outside our house on the bench just talking to themselves.
I've had someone walking down the road today on the phone having a massive argument with someone. So I think people are finally starting to crack.
We're on 5 week fatigue.
It's also the heat as well, isn't it? Like, I think lockdown and the heat together is maybe a good. Listen, we're going. We've started already, but I mean, the big question is about the shed. Let's just get this one out of the way here. So go on. What were you? Were you painting it or creosoting it, or what were you doing?
I know we were painting it, but the true fact of the matter is we had to do it twice because the first colour was really horrible.
I picked.
Lynsey
what was
picked
it?
Well, it was more, I wanted it to look like a sort of Cornish blue beach hut, which I thought was a brilliant idea. But actually, in our garden, not on a Cornish beachfront, it didn't look quite right. It was too wacky.
And then when the sun came round the garden, I don't know why, but as the sun went onto the shed, it lit up like a beacon. It's like this massive, it's like this massive beacon of light at the end of the garden.
Like
so
yeah. From miles around. Brilliant.
Yeah, like from space, you know.
It was way too bright. So we've gone for something a bit more subtle and a bit more garden-like now. So that's it. It still needs another coat. We'll have to do that tomorrow.
It's that kind of thing. What else have you been doing then that you wouldn't normally do? What have you found out about yourselves during lockdown?
Well, we're doing gym on Zoom, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Every morning, our class. I found something out in the lockdown is that Lynsey isn't a very good baker.
So you better not get the picture out. Mary Berry, I am not. I tried to make some jam tarts. He's gone to get the picture.
Yeah, you've made me.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm loving this. This is what we like. Yeah.
I tried to make some jam tarts, which I thought must be the most simple thing in the world, and I even managed to get them wrong. So I've given up. I'm just going to buy them from now on.
Hey, listen, I don't like to sound like a stalker on Twitter, but you said you made an absolutely Wham Shepherds Pie, though. That it was brilliant.
I know Lynsey works incredibly well with mince. I mean, if there was like a what they called like celebrity MasterChef, but you only work with mince, then Lynsey's winning it. It's a northern thing.
Chili, lasagna, spaghetti bolognese, shepherd's pie. That's me sorted. But Dan does the rest of the cooking unless it involves mince.
And actually, over the years, the staple mince dishes that Lynsey makes are starting to all become one dish. I mean,
what a dream!
But I mean, look at these. I mean, these are beautiful. I mean, even you will admit.
They are absolutely.
Well, no, actually, this one's the best one. I don't know if you can see it.
Is that like a puff pastry you've gone
for?
Yeah.
Yeah, the puff pastry, they actually tasted really good. They just look terrible.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah. I was going to ask you down the line when reality TV is going to hit for you both. Come on. It's only a step away, so the bake-off might be in the frame now.
Well, actually, one of the only ones I think Dan would be good at would be MasterChef.
Well, I think I would be because I've only got 2 people I ever cook for, and they just love my food. But once I get into the wide world and realise that I'm actually quite average cook, it could be quite disappointing. It's like one of those.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say it's like one of those things. You know, in your own castle, you think you're amazing at it, you know. But I don't know. I don't know on the main stage. I'm not quite sure.
He's keeping us very well fed.
I spoke to on one of these things. I spoke to Neil Razor Ruddock. You know, and he because he was on Celebrity MasterChef, and he said he started on Come Dine with Me with Carlton Palmer. Can you imagine what that was like? And cheated. His mum came round and made the meal, and he just warmed it up. But since then, he's actually gone on, and he said he really enjoyed it. He said it was. And he's kicked on. He's kind of like really into it now.
Yeah. Well, if we did Come Dine with Me as couples, I think I would have to set the table, and that would be about it.
I mean, if we're being really honest, we could never do couples Come Dine with Me because it just wouldn't end well. I don't like people in my kitchen, you know, anyone around. I watch that couples Come Dine with Me sometimes and can't really understand how anyone allows that. The kitchen's a one-man band or woman, one-person room is what it is. It's not for 2 people.
Yeah, I'm quite happy for you to be in it. That's fine.
Listen, I mean, I know the football's got the kibosh obviously at the moment. What about the festival scene? Where are we? Where are we?
You know what? We start booking festivals around September. you know, for the following year.
Sure.
So we did 9 months worth of festival bookings. I think we were around 35 festivals around Europe, and within 3 or 4 days, they all just got decimated.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as the lockdown came in, I think when the penny dropped and the gravity of the situation started to become quite apparent to everyone, anyone who had a festival booked moved it really, because, you know, large gatherings are going to probably realistically be the last thing back on the agenda. You know, so it's a really disappointing season. I mean, I love doing. It's my life. Festivals are the best thing ever, and they start in May. Sure. They go through to end of September, whatever, and it's just such great fun. You know,
it's not like work for you, is it?
No, it's just like
you're missing seeing the lads and stuff.
It's like a stag weekend every weekend.
Brilliant. Do you still
that now?
But without the strip bars and all that, because you know
absolutely, yeah. When did you still enjoy? I mean, you've been doing it for quite a while now. Do you still get the buzz from playing and performing?
Yeah. I mean, it's our 20th anniversary of our debut album this year. So which is makes me feel quite old, and but it also makes me feel quite proud. It makes me feel quite proud as well, because you know, people still want to come and see us, and you know, we do festivals where people seem to really enjoy us, and that, you know, to do that after 20 years, I'm pretty proud of that, really. But what was your question?
I don't know. I can't remember now. Do you know? Do you still get?
Oh, I love it.
Do you still do? You honestly?
Yeah. I honestly, Lynsey would say, I probably enjoy it more now than I used to, because there's no pressure anymore. You know, when I was younger, in my 20s, it was all about record sales and chart positions, and you know that sort of thing. But now it's not about any of that.
And
now,
it's changed now, because it's like it's weekends that you go away now, and stuff. You're not on the road for like months on end.
Yeah, I'm getting old now. So I
dip his toe in, do a couple of days, then come back.
I mean, we used to do 9-month tours. I mean, now it's even after 2 days, I need a week off. You know, so
yeah. Isn't it amazing how the word "old" is creeping through this conversation? It's terrible, isn't it?
I know.
What about
my roots?
How what about you? Do you get fatigued during the footy season? Do you get fed up with it, or is it always? Well, you've got to be on it the whole time, haven't you? Really?
Yeah, no, I don't. I never get tired of it. I always like realise and appreciate how lucky I am to do what I do. I get cold sometimes. I sometimes think, God, I'm freezing, and you know, I'm standing out here and I moan about the cold. But over the years, I've kind of bought a load of things to keep me warmer, like heated GJs and bigger socks, and got better at all of that. But I never get tired of the games or the season. I mean, really, this is normally the most exciting time for us, really, when everything's sort of quarterfinals, semi-finals, leading up to sort of Champions League finals. So it's when it gets juicy, really, and it's such a shame that it's all stopped.
Let me say, because like I only watch in awe of what Lynsey does. It's an amazing job, like, to be a presenter and keep all that information in. But Lynsey really preps hard. She works so hard. Football is your life. You read about it all the time. Like, even when you're not working, you're always reading about football. I always say, you're not bored of reading about football yet? Like, no, keep reading about it. Keep watching it. You don't stop. It's amazing. And it's great for me, because I get to watch football without any hassle. So
it's not great for my stepdaughter, though. She's like, are you two watching football again?
Yeah, you can't switch off, though, can you? Because, you know, somebody's signed for somebody, or somebody's doing. You literally have to follow it. You have to follow it the whole time. It's a labour of love, but you have to follow it the whole time.
Definitely, and there's just so much to absorb as well. Because when you're doing European football as well, especially, so you can't just have your focus on the Premier League. You've got to keep an eye on what's happening in Germany and what's happening in Spain and France, and as much as you can. But sometimes it's just like there aren't enough hours in the day to keep on top of it all.
Where is it? If you've been to a favourite venue where you've been presenting football from, either home and abroad, what would it be? Which one stands out for you?
Dortmund, without a doubt. My favourite. Well, apart from St James's Park, that goes
obviously.
But in terms of going on a work trip, the Westfalen Stadion is just insane. That wall, just to see it in action. You
were really impressed with Milan's
San Siro.
San Siro, yeah. You came back.
There's something really romantic about San Siro. It's actually, it feels like it's falling apart a bit. I mean, it needs a good spruce up and a good lick of paint, but there's something really romantic about being there.
And for people who've not been to the Dortmund Stadium, I've not been. I've only seen it on TV. Can you actually hear yourself speak? I know.
No,
sort of TV presenter.
Yeah, we had two earpieces in trying to block it out, and to be honest, normally they're pretty good, but I think it was Jermaine Genius who was with me pitchside, and yeah, he even said to me at one point, he just guessed what I asked him and hoped that he answered the right question, because it's crazy. Yeah, it was Jermaine. I think it was Tottenham who were there. So yeah, but it's what Tottenham based their new stadium on, that one.
Brilliant.
And it's like 10,000 of them in there, and they're nuts, but brilliantly nuts.
Dan, I know you played. I think the last band to play at the old Wembley Stadium. If there was a venue for you, if there's one that stood out for you, what would it be?
Yeah. Wembley Stadium was amazing, just because it is Wembley Stadium. But I really was crapping it a lot. I mean, it was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many people were in that stadium when we played, but it was sold out Bon Jovi gig. And you know, I said to the other guitar player in the band, I remember this because it was an amazing weekend, because we also played at V Festival earlier in the day. So we did V Festival in the lunchtime, and then went to do the stadium gig in the evening. And then on Sunday, did the Chelmsford Festival, which used to be part of V. And then in the evening, did Wembley again. But we said to each other, me and the guitar player, we said, what we'll do is we'll do that thing that cool bands, rock and roll bands do. We'll walk out in front of the screens. You have the screens either side of the stage. We'll walk out in front of the screens. Seemed like a really good idea. As I sort of started to approach, we kind of looked at each other and went, right, I probably only got about like a few foot out onto this little wing, and just went, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not brave enough to do that, because you're really isolated and there's all these people,
But didn't you both keep like having a guitar off and keep playing little extra bits, so you could be the last guitar player to play it there?
I wanted to be. We both wanted to be the last.
Brilliant, I love it.
The guitar is one of the only instruments where you can milk it a little bit at the end of a song. So I kind of already arranged that I was going to be the last one in my own head. I didn't say anything to him. The guy Julian, he's a good guy. And he obviously had the same idea. So when we both put our guitars down, we both walked away. I went back to mine. I had to be. So I am officially the last English guitar player to play in Wembley Stadium. It's mine, and I'm going to keep that in the locker.
Never taken away. Never taken away.
The other amazing place to play is the Glasgow Barrowlands. It's the most incredible venue in the world, because
is it small then?
It's like 2,500 maybe, and the floors are. It used to be an old dance hall back in the day, and the floors are wooden. They're old wooden floorboards, and when you get 2,000 people all jumping up and down, the floorboards actually move. But the energy in that place. I mean, the Scottish are great fans anyway. They like to have a drink and they like to get involved. They're not like arms folded kind of crowds. They get involved.
Like the Geordies.
Like the Geordies.
Well, listen, remind me to ask you about Newcastle in a minute. Who's Lynsey? Who's the guest you like working with the most?
Probably Steve McManaman.
Right.
Because he just.
I know another person that you always have a soft spot.
I love Martin Keown as well. They're both completely different characters. But yeah, no, I really enjoy it. Macca just completely gets the joy of football, and it's absolutely not a job for him. You'll never see it like that. He's like, we're just having a laugh, we're just having a laugh. He's always happy and enjoying it, and you can ask him anything and he wouldn't flinch. He'll just give you a great answer. And I've done a lot of Arsenal games with Martin recently, so he gets frustrated a lot because of the way it's been going for them, but he really cares about the show and how it sounds, and you can tell he's always well prepared and he's conscious about what he's saying, and he never just turns up and thinks, oh, this. But
by saying that he never turns up and just thinks it's easy, that means that some people do turn up. So the next question is, who turns up and thinks it's going to be easy? Underprepared.
All I will say is, who's well prepared and who isn't. But
come on, let's name some names.
But I get on with them brilliant. Also,
name some names.
What I like about Martin is he always says I remind him of the SWAT in school who we used to sit next to, this girl in school who we used to be able to ask loads of questions, and she always knows, she's like, I can ask you anything, and you normally give me like the answer. How much did he cost, or who did he sign for? And he quite likes that. I always have an answer for him. So, but no, I'm not telling you that.
Well done. I don't blame it. Listen, Lynsey, do you get nervous?
Yeah, not so much now.
Why did you look at me?
If I say
I'm going to ask you next.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's only natural that you do a bit, and obviously depending on the magnitude of the game as well, that changes it. For me, a lot of it, as long as I feel like I'm prepared, then I'm fine. So I found a way to sort of deal with that over the years.
Drinking.
Best way.
I used to do a lot more.
What, drink?
What? Yeah, that too.
It's in lockdown.
The thing is, it is difficult. I guess it's experience as well, because you do sometimes your mind just completely goes blank, doesn't it? In those words, it does. It happens to everyone.
Yeah, I think I'm always less nervous in the studio. I think when I'm pitch side, because like you were saying earlier, sometimes you just can't hear. It's that simple, and you don't want to make a mistake because of that or say the wrong thing. So you're really sort of conscious about how it's going, and you can't hear the gallery. You know what it's like, how many different voices you've got in your ear, and sometimes you've got people counting and talking at the same time. And when you're pitch side and someone starts blasting Dancing in the Moonlight over the PA like they normally do at full value, it's hard to hear. Do you get the times that happens, and it's just.
Do you get nervous, Dan, or is it all taken in stride now?
Well,
you don't.
I really enjoy getting nervous. I just don't get very nervous very often. I do actually really like it. If I'm in a situation where we're about to go on and I feel nervous, I'm quite grateful when that happens, because there's a reason why that might be. It might not always be because it's the size of the crowd. Sometimes it can just be, I don't know, who knows what it is, but I kind of like being nervous. I think a slight bit of nerves helps you perform better. I think it keeps you on edge, and sort of what you never want to do is be so comfortable that you're just sort of like, you let things slip a little bit. So I kind of, I'm not going to lie, there are some shows where, if I'm being honest, I could sleepwalk through it, because I know, I'm not saying I do that sometimes maybe, but it's not good to do that. You want to be a little bit on it, so.
What's your next project? Obviously you're going to keep the music going. Have you got anything up your sleeve, or anything that you'd like to do, to take on?
When I'm allowed to go back out into the wide world again. Well, I mean, we want to make another album. Toploader want to make another album, because because it's been a few years, and we probably will do that. We were planning on maybe getting in the studio and doing a few things this year, but obviously that's probably not going to happen now. So maybe next year. But really playing and getting out and doing gigs, which is what we love doing, and it's what we do. It's a horrible situation for everyone, and I always try and remember that what we're going through at the moment is
absolutely
everyone's in the same boat, and actually some are in a much worse situation, like frontline NHS workers and teachers. I mean, teachers keep getting forgotten about, but a lot of them are still going into schools and having to teach kids for the key words, and they're not really getting mentioned. So there's a lot of people, and actually another people I do a shout out to is delivery men, because they're doing an amazing job, and I see them out and about, and I know they don't come into contact with people, but without them we'd all be a bit screwed, wouldn't we? So we've got it quite easy, really. We just got to sit back and wait for the moment I can pick my guitar up again.
You should start fancy.
I was quite happy.
He jokes about me reading everything about football, but he actually will read any single article about Man United constantly.
Where does Man United come from? Because you're near Brighton, aren't you? What's Man United connect?
I'm going to lay it out on the line here, just because I know it really winds Lynsey up.
He's one of those weird people with two teams.
Lynsey
should not be allowed.
Okay, so I grew up, my old man and my family are all Brighton supporters, okay? So I was brought up to be a Brighton supporter, but during the sort of, late 80s and the 90s, Brighton weren't really a team you could particularly follow on TV. They weren't a team you could go and even really see. At one point, they were at Gillingham, it's like, it wasn't kind of, And so now they're back up and running. And I am call me what you want, Brighton fans, but I keep a massive eye on it. I'm obviously being just down the road. We go and watch the games. Yeah, we go and watch the games down there, and it's great stadium, amazingly well-run club.
Great people.
Paul Barber's just the nicest guy, and he does such a great job. So all that's great. But when in the 90s, I kind of fell in love with the sort of England part of the Man United team. So like Scholes and Beckham. And Neville, I was in my sort of formative years. They were playing for England a lot, and Man United just had that guile about them, that style, that sort of something sort of like romantic about them. It was like and Eric Cantona and all that. So I kind of fell in love with it through all that really. And I guess that was a great time to fall in love with United, because what happened after that for the next 20 years was just been beautiful. Now, not so much now, but.
Well, you feel like there's a few sort of.
Yeah, I actually think if the season
bright spots
gets to be played out, or had it played out, I think we would have made top 4. I think we're convinced. I'm not always the most positive Man United fan, certainly not in the last 5 or 6 years, but I really am convinced that we're turning the corner, and I think that we had the advantage, even though we were 3 points behind Chelsea. With the run-in we had, I thought we had the advantage over Chelsea, and I think that the team was starting to come together. And I'm really, it's such a disappointment not to see how that team would have carried on the season, really.
I've got to say, I mean, I didn't say I grew up with Ole Solskjaer, but I was up in the Northwest when he was a Man United player. Yeah. I'm just so pleased. I mean, in this day, well, Lynsey, you'll know that nobody's given any time. I'm so pleased he seems to have bought himself a bit of time.
Well, and actually, I'm not saying anything. I hope I'm not saying anything out of place, but this whole crisis that we're going through at the moment is probably going to buy him even more, to be honest, because no one's going to be making any changes like that. It wouldn't be right, and it's not the right thing to do. But yeah,
Bruno
Fernandes has been a good signing, and we needed someone like that so desperately. And I think, for me, I just feel like that certain parts of the cogs are starting to work now, and it feels like we need a right winger. Sancho would be the dream, but we'll see. Once we get these little last bit of the jigsaw, I think we'll be up there, and I do actually think we'll be competing. I think it might be a couple more years before we're competing with Liverpool, and that, yes, I hate to say that, but it's the truth.
Yeah,
but
it's probably the truth.
I don't think we'll be far away. And actually, 4 months ago, I wouldn't have minded missing out on the Champions League because we simply weren't good enough to be in it. But I think with Fernandes and Pogba being back and Rashford, and I think we probably do deserve to be in it now. And I think I think we might miss out on it. I worry that we might.
The fixtures were more favourable.
They were more favourable, and we were in the ascendancy. We were looking good. We were looking sharp.
The only thing is, by the time we get back to football, Newcastle will have bought Messi, Ronaldo, Sanchez. They'd have bought the world. They brought back David Beckham by the time we.
They'll all be living in the dream and loving it, I'm sure.
All I'm going to say.
He can't actually bear it. He literally can't bear it.
I'm going to say 3 letters.
We could be...
FFP. That's all I'm going to say.
we could be considerably richer than you.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't deal with it.
I'm fond of Newcastle, obviously, because of my family, my other family's connection with it now, and I love the club, apart from when we're playing United.
I was going to say, it didn't sound like that when you were beating us on Boxing Day. It didn't sound like he had a soft spot for us.
Hey, listen, do you know what? Thanks, the two of you. It's been lovely talking to you.
It's been lovely talking
to you
as well. It really has.
You take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Keep washing your hands. We'll see you back on the stage. We'll see you back on the screen very shortly.
Fingers crossed, hey?
Thank you.
Take care, the two of you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.